When Pat Smith got married, she expected to live happily ever after, just like everyone else. However, she soon discovered that her I do came with some baggage she wasn't ready to carry. She joins us to tell us more. Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Now, let's jump right into it. You've written a book, Second Chances, Finding Healing for Your Pain, Regaining Your Strength, Celebrating Your New Life. But for most people looking at you, a former Miss Virginia, and the first African-American one at that, you were married to Martin Lawrence. You're married to a great football star now. Look at you, think, what problems does she have?
I hear that a lot.
What's it like for people in your position who are married to high-profile people? Because we're looking at you thinking, oh, I wish I was Pat. I mean, not being a man.
I was going to say, do you,
No. Well, if you can transfer your shoes to me, that men's sizes,
okay,
then we may.
I got you.
But let's be in the spirit. Yeah. What's it like being in your shoes, as it were?
I think as I was listening you speak, a lot of things that you mentioned, like who you're married to, what you do, what you've done, and a lot of times people forget about who you are. Mm-hmm. So even though, yes, I was fortunate and blessed, I've had a blessed life. I've had many losses and disappointments along with that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you can have some of the most greatest moments of life and then some of your greatest misery in life. So prior to my first marriage with Martin, my mother passed away with breast cancer very early, mm-hmm. which really created a void in me that I didn't even understand until probably 20 years later, that I never really dealt with or healed from. Mm-hmm. And then I believe from that void, I started trying to fill that void because I didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, right, with things, people, whether it was ambition and goals or men, looking for satisfaction in the wrong places. And that led me down a really devastating path. Mm-hmm. Martin and I got married after dating off and on for about 3 years. I actually met him in Virginia when he was doing stand-up comedy.
I gathered your first meeting, the two of you argued something sore behind the scenes.
Gosh, it was like how we thought we would ever end up married. I mean, it's amazing to me because we were like oil and, vinegar, or oil and water, I should say, at the moment. Because, I was interested in him because he was, he's a comedian, he's funny. Ladies love to laugh, right?
Yes.
So I'm at the comedy show in Richmond, Virginia, and he is cracking me up. But then afterwards, the way he came at me, I didn't think was so cool. And he was used to all the ladies kind of coming at him, and we just And so we were reconnected by his brother, and that's how we stayed in touch. Mm-hmm. And actually had a beautiful connection as far as just being able to really talk and share, and he was interesting to me outside of the whole Hollywood scene.
Right.
But then when I moved to Los Angeles and we started dating with all the pressures of that industry, we were both so young. Again, I did not have the relationship with the Lord that I have now. Mm-hmm. It was just a different time for us. It was very, I would say, unhealthy. It was not a constructive relationship in marriage. Right. And then after we got married, we had our daughter, who's now 20 years old, unbelievable, in college. And
you don't have a 20-year-old daughter.
I have a 20-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're a liar, because it would be rude to say that, but you don't have a 20-year-old daughter.
I have a 20. I'm 45. I'll be 46 this year.
My Lord.
Second chances.
But let me ask you, though, about the choices, because you talk about making the wrong choices to get you where you were. Looking back now, what were some of the choices that you made that you would say to a younger you, don't do that? Would you say, don't marry Martin, or would you say, all things work together for the good?
I would say, before you marry anyone, get to know them. First of all, make sure that you are equally yoked. Make sure you both have a relationship with Jesus Christ. At that time, again, we were very young. I think I met Martin, I was 21 years old, right out of college. 22 dating him. My mother was, at that time, I lost her. I was going through so many life-changing moments as a young woman. And he was very young at the same time. His career was just taking off. We should have gotten to know each other very well. And with Christ at the center of that relationship, didn't know any better. I believe that if I could tell myself that now, yes, I would. However, I believe that in life, all things work together, right? Yeah. So we went through it. Second chances is all about, we're going to suffer. God promises suffering. We're going to go through things in life. And I felt so much shame for so many years because of some of my decisions, some of the things that I chose to do, some of the things that just happened to me, that if I could talk to my younger self, I would say, you know what? These things are going to happen. But if you hold on to God and allow Him to guide and lead you through this journey, and you embrace those moments, you fight through those moments, God will bring you out stronger than before. Your misery actually can become your ministry. You know, we always talk about your test being your testimony.
Yeah.
These things can happen. Second chances is really just about grace. It's about God's grace over your life and being able to turn what could be such a devastating thing into something really wonderful, and what I believe I'm able to do now with this platform and with this book.
So I'm reading Pat Smith's book, and I'm looking for some juicy bits about Emmett. I'm looking for some juicy bits about Pat, and what I'll find in here are live tools for facing adversity.
Well, you're gonna find some people may think they're juicy bits because it's real. I tell people the one thing about me, I'm gonna always keep it real and authentic, because I don't believe in faking it. For so many years, I used to cover my face with a mask and pretend everything was okay and that everything was perfect, and that's exhausting. I tell people it is so much easier to be you than to be somebody else.
Wow.
So I freed myself from that a long time ago. I should say God freed me from that. So yes, there are some things in there people may read and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that about Pat, or I didn't know that about Emmett. But you know what? If it heals somebody, or if somebody can see themselves in us and be freed from whatever they're dealing with, it's worth it for me.
Pat Smith, author of the book Second Chance, thank you so much for joining us on Turning Point.
Thank you for having me.